Okay, so a lot of you ask me about my lashes. I have a very specific way I put my lashes on and lashes that I love. I love, love, love Halloween lashes. And so I go through like my whole collection of Halloween lashes, what I look for, all the things that I love, how I use them year round so that they are not like Halloween-y. And so if you want to know about that, this would be the video for you. So let's get started. Alright, so we're going to answer these questions that people have asked me about my YouTube channel and things I use and things like that. And I'm going to be doing a look with the Glam Light Icy palette. It's still available, but it's like so blue. And so I'm doing this whole blue sweater. Look at this cute sweater. Isn't this so cute? It's actually August right now. And I don't even care because I love fall. It's very breezy out. It's very chilly. So I'm like, yes, yes, yes. Bring on the sweaters. Yes. Okay. All right. Well, I believe I have done a video using this once before. I'm not really sure, but if not, I'm using it again because I really love it. And we are going to go for a blue look, of course. I have my base on already. I didn't spray it with setting spray. So I feel like sometimes when I do that and if I get like fallout, then it's a big issue. So I'm not really sure if these shadows have fallout, but I tend to be pretty heavy-handed in general. So I'm just going to take some of my Maybelline Fit Me powder. I have it in 05 Fair. And I'm just going to take a dry beauty blender and I'm just going to put a bunch of powder like underneath my eye, so that if there is fallout, I can just whisk it away. Just whisk it away. I periodically will put like posts up on my community tab on YouTube or on my Facebook and just ask questions. And one of them was like, hey, do you have any questions about YouTube specifically? Because I know a lot of my people are interested in trying to do content creation or are doing content creation and have questions. So these are just a couple questions that they asked and I'm going to answer. So you might have asked this question and now I'm going to answer it for you. The first one is, what app do you use to manage your YouTube comments? Okie dokie. So whilst I answer that, I kind of want a dramatic blue look, but I'm going to start with this shade here called Frozenated, which is just this more like blue periwinkle shade. And I'm just going to go all over the lid with it just to set down a nice little base. So what I use for my YouTube comments mostly is the YouTube companion app called YouTube Studio, or I use just the YouTube like on my computer, right? I have a system though, because see, this is an important thing for people who watch YouTube and also if you're going to be doing any content creation. When you use like the YouTube app, the YouTube Studio app, you only get notified if somebody puts a new comment in. So if somebody comments like, you know, what is the best shampoo for synthetic wigs? And then underneath that, I respond like, you know, Renee Paris synthetic wig shampoo. If somebody comments underneath that, I actually don't get a notification because to YouTube, it's not a new comment, it's a continuation of a conversation. So I actually have like a little system that I do. Somebody asked why I heart my own comments, and this is why. As you scan down, if I heart every comment, including my own, that means I know that I've addressed it and that I don't need to worry about it. So when I'm trying to go through, like in the YouTube Studio app, I do the new comments and everything. And then periodically I'll go into YouTube and just basically keep scrolling down and sort of scan to see if there's one that I missed. And being able to heart every single one, including mine, is really, really easy to just scan down. And then if I don't see a heart, that means that I didn't address it. So that's my little like cheat code. But that is a tip in general. If you're someone who's leaving me a comment and you really want me to respond to it, start a new comment, even if you're asking or elaborating on something even you've written or someone else has written, because I'll be more guaranteed to see it. Usually I do answer every single comment, but potentially I might just miss one, and that's a way for I wouldn't miss it. Like I said, I do try to respond to every single comment, and then, you know, for some people that's like a lot. I'm going to tell you, it does take a lot to be able to do that. So, you know, you don't really have to do that. I mean, you can do whatever you really want to do. That's just something that I do, but just know that it can be very time consuming. I think I'm going to go in with this color called Cool, because it's not a color I used yet, and I'm using this brush from Japanesque. It's the 712. So that is the app that I use to manage YouTube comments. I did just get this social media like manager, like maybe you've heard of like Hootsuite or something. I did just get this social media manager called Metrocool, and that pulls in my comments from YouTube as well. So if I'm in Metrocool, it actually pulls in the comments from every single thing that you put in there. So if you put Instagram in there, Facebook, Pinterest, whatever, you can just go to comments and it'll have every single comment in order of like date and time, no matter what platform. So that's really helpful. And if I end up hiring someone to help me with my social media, that's a helpful feature, but it's not necessarily what I use currently, but it is available to me. See how I'm just like packing this in? You can see that there is some fallout. So when I'm done, I can sweep this away because of the powder, and then it won't ruin my base makeup. I'm actually going to do this towards the inside too, and try to do more of a halo eye, which I don't normally do, because I don't really like dark colors towards the inner corner of my eye, but I can still put some highlight in the inner corner. I think it just makes me look too tired if I don't do this properly. So I'm going to set this in, and now I'm going to blend. So I'm going to take a clean, fresh blending brush to do this so that I don't actually add more pigment. And I want it to be a little bit smaller so that I can keep it right on the edges and in the crease. So that is what I use for those. Next question is, how do you set up lives? I set up my lives on my phone, like using the YouTube app on my actual phone. It's just easier for me that way. You can set up lives on your desktop too, but I use the mobile version and do it that way. And you can set it to like occur later and things like that, meaning schedule them. So, you know, when I go through and I give you all the links to the live sales and stuff, I set them up all together and then on my phone. And the reason I do that, I don't even know if this is a question, but it might be. The reason I do that is because there is a app that I use to create the thumbnails. I either use Canva to create thumbnails, or I use this app called, I think it's called Roto Photo or Roto or something. That's the app that I use to do all of the thumbnails for my live sales. And so because it's on my phone, it's just easier for me to set up the live on my phone, and then I can just do the thumbnail really quick and pull it in. It's not something I have to like transfer to my computer or anything. I do all my filming on my phones. I have two. I have an iPhone 12 and an iPhone 13. And so I go in between them and use them both. So I film completely. In general, I use all Apple products. So I have an iMac, I have a MacBook, I have my two iPhones, and then I have an iPad Pro, and then I have a couple just regular iPads. One that I use as a monitor when I'm live, you know, doing live sales so I can see the comments better. And one that was my son's that I want to use for a monitor over here, but I just haven't gotten around to it. So that's one reason why I do the phones and all that the way I do. The second question is, what's the right way to do YouTube Shorts? You're asking the wrong person, and I mean, depending on the day, it changes. Some people hate YouTube Shorts. Some people feel like it hurts their channel. Some people feel like it helps their channel. Some people think, you know, I mean, don't make as much money if you're just doing shorts. I have been personally using YouTube Shorts on my second channel a lot, just to keep regular content on there. It's not like growing that channel at all, so I don't feel like if you're just doing shorts, it would grow that. I mean, this isn't TikTok, so, you know, if you really love short form content, I'm not saying that you shouldn't use shorts. I'm just saying that maybe multiple platforms would be best. What I use shorts for, me specifically, is I'm going to go in with a flat brush, and I'll probably end up using my finger, but I'm going to put shimmer right in this, you know, part that's open. do I want to do dark and then maybe try to lighten up? Who knows? I'm going to use a shimmer that I haven't used. So this is called Refresh. I have no idea what this is going to look like. So I guess we're going to find out. Oh yeah, this is going to go way darker than I intended, but that's okay. Wow. Glamlight is so good. These shimmers are so amazing. Look at that right there. So we're going to just do, oh my. Yeah, this is way darker than I meant it to be. So I'm just going to work it in this middle section here. I might blend it out with a lighter color. So I'm just going to keep it right there. And then we will add some maybe around it. So I use shorts currently to sort of like tie into another video, like on my main channel, to highlight a video or remind you of a video I've already done, or just to do these like quick, like, let's look at this wig, let's look at this color, you know, just like these quick looks. That's what I use it for. On my second channel, Tia Maria Wigs LLC, which is, you know, the channel for my online boutique, I do it just to highlight wigs, to show you what they look like indoors, outdoors. Like, I don't do any other stuff with that. I'm going to go in around it with this color called Chillin', and we're going to see what happens. You know, I just really want consistent content. I'm not monetized on there or anything on my second channel, but, you know, YouTube algorithm, if you don't have consistent content, it really does start bumping you out. So I more just do it just to keep consistent content till I get some other things done and I start utilizing that channel a bit more. So I'm putting it on both sides, and then I'm just going to use my finger eventually just to blend this all together. You have to do research on shorts. I think it's really important to do research. There's a couple channels that I like that I think are good for if you really want to learn like the ins and outs of YouTube, and I'll link those below. But I do feel like it is something that does change, and it does really depend on what your goal is on YouTube. So that's just something, my opinion or not my opinion, is something like, it's not my area of expertise. And it's not something like, I really don't like short form content in general. I prefer to do long form content, especially on YouTube. Like, I feel like, you know, I'm not on TikTok for a reason. I don't like it. I don't want to do primarily short form content. I'm just not interested. I don't really see a time when I will be on TikTok. It's just, I also don't think it's my audience, or I don't think it's very beneficial to what people either want to know about me or learn about wigs. I just don't see how that's gonna help. I'm just gonna go with my finger. Ooh, so my gosh, this is like, so do you see how like that pushed in like that? Just so soft and buttery. So I probably didn't help too much with the question of shorts, but it's not something I really like love, so it's just not something I'm interested. And there is a YouTuber that talks about growing on YouTube that's like basically feels the same way. She's like just not into shorts at all. You know, she's got a nice mid-sized channel, over 100,000 subscribers. And so she feels that same way. Next it says, is the intro and outro important? Again, I also think this is dependent on when you're watching this. I think the outro is important just because you can set up YouTube when you set up a video to put like a suggested video and things like that at the end. So having an outro just has a place for that to go. Some people don't necessarily do an outro, but they'll be like, okay, YouTube's gonna, you know, suggest you a video here and you can subscribe here. And they just put it on the last couple of frames. I could start doing that, but I'm not going to do it so much. As far as the intro, that is a big thing, especially if you want to grow. Having an intro, not having an intro. If you're going to do an intro, it needs to be short. People with the long intros and all this kind of stuff, you're going to lose viewership. So if you've noticed over time, I have shortened my intro, and I usually put like what the video is about before I put the intro, because then that way people can decide whether they want to watch the video or not before they get bored because they're waiting for your, like, you know, 1.5 minute intro. It's just too much. People just don't have that kind of like attention span anymore. I'm going to take this definer brush and I'm going to take this color called Ice Cold and put it in the inner corners to brighten me up a little bit. That's what I think about that. I do think that they can be important, but I do believe you have to know how to use them and you have to use them correctly. In general, if you want to like be a content creator and be on YouTube, there is a level of understanding YouTube, understanding the evolution, and also doing it based on like your particular goals. I'm going to take this brush that we started with and go in with that light shade all along the underside of my eye, just so the look isn't as dark. It just went pretty dark, which is fine. I have a live tonight, so it'll be nice on camera. It's like so windy. Kit Kat is so trying to just sleep, but she has like one ear up. Like, I'm going to sleep through this, but I want to be kind of on guard in case. What are some good free editing programs? There isn't a ton of free editing programs. I basically use one and have in general, but in the past I've used like low cost versions of Filmora. I think that's it. Filmora is the only one that I use outside of iMovie. I just use iMovie. I'll tell you though, I used iMovie exclusively on either on my iPad or my phone. But the version of iMovie I have on my iMac, my desktop, has so many more features. So I would say, like, if you like the quality of my videos and my editing, you can do that on iMovie, which is free. It comes, you know, built in as a software. However, if you want to step it up and you still want it to be free and you sort of like iMovie and how it's laid out, getting a desktop that has iMovie, like, opens up their features so much. There was so much you can do with iMovie that you can't do on the mobile versions. So that's definitely a tip. All right, I'm gonna go wash my fingers because I have all this blue, and then we'll come back and do the rest. Okay, so I get a lot of questions about my lashes, and for the most part, I primarily use Halloween lashes. So I'm gonna put on some lashes and show you how I use the Halloween lashes. Also, just giving you a heads up on the type of lashes I choose and why, because I'm filming this in August, so you're going to start seeing some of the stuff come out soon. And then also after Halloween, a lot of this stuff goes on clearance, and that's when you scoop them up and I use them for the year. So these are just some of the Halloween lashes that I have hoarded over the years and some of my favorite ones. And I literally get them like a bunch at a time and use them throughout the year. So the one brand that I really like is Fright Night. And these are like the traditional, you'll find them at Walmart. And there's three. Well, I have these one called Bat Wings. I don't love these. They have like a little bit of sparkle on them. These aren't like my main, but my main like go-tos are these one called Mesmerizing. And just so you know, like, you're like, oh my gosh, that's so much lashes. I always cut these, so this is actually 4 pair of lashes for me. And I also love these ones called Midnight Magic because they have these like purple tips, which is so cute. It looks like, you know, you have the little purple mascara without any purple mascara. The other brand that I really like that I use is the Fantasy Makers. This one's called Wild Wicked. I don't have as many of these because the other one that I'm going to show you is like my absolute favorite. But again, I would cut these and make these into for lashes. And this is made by Wet n Wild, okay? My absolute favorite are the Kiss. And I have these from multiple years. So each year they have like a different theme. And so I feel like last year it was these ones where they had this spell on you. And it was like sort of the Hocus Pocus theme. They had spooky magic. So this one is called Beatrix. And these are limited editions. So they're different every year, but they can be pretty similar. These spell on you, I got a bunch of. These are some of my favorites. This is called Phoebe. This is what I'm going to use today, actually. But like, there's these ones called Ursula from the Fantastic line. Some more from the Fantastic was Willa. So these are just the lashes that I use. Here's some more from the Fantastic. This one was called Blair, like Blair Witch. And I love this one. This is called Samara, and it's got those like red tips. Again, I always cut these, so these are multiple for me. Because people are like, how do you use your Halloween lashes? That's how. These are all from different years. So this was the Wicked Trick or Treat, and it's called Spell. Love these. This is called Siren, See You in the Night. And this is called Under the Sea. Under the Sea, Under the Sea. This one's called Gathers, Witches Gather. I Witch You a Happy Halloween. This is called Samantha. So this was a play on that Hocus Pocus. Was it last year or the year before when that came like out again? Because you know it was like Hocus Pocus a couple years. And then this one was the Hocus Pocus one, and these are called Helena. And then this one, these are probably the most tame. This is from the Fantastic line. And this was called Rowena. And these are the most like natural-esque tame that I use. And then last but not least, it was called Find Your Spirit Animal, and it was like a couple years ago. These ones were a little funky, so they had this one called Raven, which I absolutely love. And then they had this one, which I absolutely love too, called Leopardess. And this is also that has the purple. This just has more of a thick purple band on it. But they had these fun ones. I don't get these as much because these I use in conjunction with other lashes. And this one's called Hawk. So these like sparkly ones, I would like cut these in half and layer them up with other ones. I do have a video on the double lash technique that I use. And then this one's called Vixen, and they have the little like gems on them. Again, I would layer them with a regular lash. So that is sort of a little show and tell of the Halloween lashes that I have. So let's show you how I use them. And I'm going to use these ones called Spell on You, like I had said. And this is the Phoebe. Okay. And then I'm going to take these, and do you see how they have the rungs? How I know how to cut these, like you can measure your eye and everything. But when I cut them based on these, like, see there's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, like little groups. So that's how I learned to cut them. I always want a lash that like accentuates the sort of cat eye situation that I have with my eyes, a shape. What I'm going to do is I like how these get from shorter to longer, but I need this to be able to fit more on, see where my eyeliner here comes from right on the side of my iris to the outside. So that's where I want the lash. I don't want it to come all the way in. I want it to start at the side of the iris and then go this way. So putting this on, you can see that that's going to be too big. So I'm going to cut off at the ends probably 1 or 2 of these. So I still get that from shorter to longer, but I cut it down a little bit because I really like how these flare out. I'm actually going to cut these first 2, I think. So I always get, when they're brand new on here, listen, I have pulled up on here and ripped the band. So I always take the tweezers and pull, like get the band really, really thick and pull up on it just a little bit. And then get these tweezers up under here and then pull it so that you don't rip the band. So yeah, you see it looks like that. So I'm going to cut off the first 2 rungs. So it's like 1, 2. I'm going to cut there. And sometimes if the lashes are really long, I can get 2 pairs. With this and the way that I'm wearing them, these will just be the ones that I'm going to wear. So you're going to want to roll this because your eye is not like straight across like it is. You're going to want to roll this. And when you take them first out of the package, they are pretty sticky. So that's nice. And I'm going to take my glue. I'm using the strip glue right now from Kiss. And this is the black strip adhesive. I use this and the duo glue. I go back and forth, but I'm on this right now. So that's what we're doing. So I'm just going to paint this on the band itself. And again, because I just took them out, they're already kind of sticky. So that's good. But as you use them, you might need a little more glue. You always want to blow on it to get it like tacky. Again, because these are new and it already has that stick from the packaging, you're going to do a little bit better. But you just want to make sure that it's tacky. I'm going to set that right where I want it. Like I said, right on the other side of my iris. And then I grab this firmly. I just want to press down lightly onto the lash line. And you really want to try to get as close to your natural lashes as possible. That's how it looks the best. And what you can do to like make sure this is stuck down, because if you stick your finger on here, your finger is going to stick to it a little bit. I often use the back part of my tweezers if I need to just like push down a little bit, just to make sure it's going to stick in the right spot. So we're going to let that dry, and then I'm going to push this up so it doesn't like droop down on my eye, but you do want to like make sure it's a little bit dry first. So I'm going to get this second lash, and again, because I cut 2 off in the front, I'm going to do that again. Now my eyes aren't actually the exact same, so sometimes as you get used to it, you might find that you're taking like 3 off one side and 2 off the other, or a little bit more, just because in general your eyes are not exactly symmetrical 100%. But let's just do it this way until we get used to stuff before we start getting more complicated about it. I have some excess glue on my fingers, so I'm going to rub it off like you did when you were like a little kid. so it doesn't cause me any problems. All right, so I'm gonna put this on, and I like to do it when I'm kind of looking down, just so I make sure I get it close to the lash line. So I have a mirror that's kind of sitting down a little bit. Now that this one's a little drier, I'm gonna go ahead on the side of my finger and really up into my own lash too, and push up a little bit, just so I don't push this off or get crazy glue everywhere. And see, I'm just gonna like round it up a little bit, just to open, look at that, open my eye up. See? You see the difference? So I'm gonna let this one dry, and then I will do that one as well. So this one's a little dry. Again, side of your finger, so that you're not like pulling it off. Just make your finger like an eyelash curler. And as you can see on the inside, they're at the same spot, but this side is a little bit longer. So sometimes I would, again, trim on the outside too. I don't care right now, but you know, just so I can visually show you, sometimes your eyes aren't exactly the same length. But yeah, so that's what I have with the lashes. That's how I use them. Even though they're Halloween lashes, how I can use them for like everyday wear. And it is pretty much exclusively, the only other type of lashes I wear are lily lashes and velour, but for the most part, this is what I wear. So I hope that was helpful. And yeah, I have a whole playlist on lashes and brows that I will link for you, and I'll link all the products as well. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!